Well, good morning and welcome to Coffee with Doc here on Thursday morning. It's February the 11th, and we're just trudging right on through the book of Revelation. We're in chapter 9, starting with today. And we just had the trumpets judgments that we talked about yesterday. And we've got the first four trumpets. Now, remember, all of these are being done or poured out during the 7 year tribulation period. But again, we're going to see something here where the prominent person in all of this, we're going to see the Antichrist, we're going to see the beast later on and all. But the one who's running the whole show is the one who's always been running the whole show. And we're introduced to him here again in chapter 9. And that's the old enemy, the deceiver himself, Satan. So let's jump into chapter 9 and just talk about it here for just a few minutes. We're looking at verse 1, and we're coming up on the fifth trumpet judgment. Then the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star from heaven which had fallen to the earth. Now, notice John didn't say, I saw a star that fell from heaven to earth. He said, when the fifth angel sounded, I saw a star from heaven which had fallen, meaning past tense. This star has already fallen to earth. Now, if you remember, the word that's used to describe Satan is a star, the bright star, like the shining star. And we know that he was cast out of heaven. We know that he is the prince of the power of the world, the earth here. And so let's see if we can find an identity to make sure this is the devil that we're talking about. He said, I saw a star which had fallen from heaven, fallen to the earth, and the key to the shaft of the abyss was given to him. Now, he is the king of darkness, and he's literally the king of hell, and he's given the key to the shaft of the abyss. The abyss refers to hell. And in verse 2 it says, he opened the shaft of the abyss, and smoke ascended out of the shaft like the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened from the smoke of the shaft. Now, folks, listen to me. You can laugh if you want to, but once the church and the Holy Spirit is taken out, all bets are off in terms of what will appear and what will happen. And he says there came out of the abyss creatures. Now, he names them here in chapter 9 in verse 3. Then out of the smoke, that's not the creatures are not the smoke, but out of the smoke came creatures. And he said they were locusts, and they came out upon the earth, and power was given them as the scorpions of the earth have power. Now, power to hurt. That's the idea. Excuse me. But they were told not to hurt the grass of the earth, nor any green thing, nor any tree. Now, you remember back during the opening of the others that a third of the earth, a third of the grass, a third of the trees were burned up. So he's saying, no, don't do that. I don't give you that power. But he said, then out of the smoke came those locusts, and they were told not to hurt the grass or any green thing or any tree, but only the people who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. You remember we told about those who were sealed by God, the 144,000. He says, and they were not permitted to kill anyone. Now notice that. They were not permitted to kill these creatures, but to torment for 5 months. Now that doesn't seem like long. Yeah, unless you're the one getting stung. That's like saying, well, it's not major surgery unless it's happening to me. Then it becomes major surgery. He says they were not permitted to kill anyone, but to torment for 5 months. And listen to it. It says their torment was like. Doesn't say it was, but it was like the torment of a scorpion when it stings a person. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been stung several times by scorpions, and it usually happens when I'm about to get into bed and step on one, or one is in the bed with me. A lot of that happened in South Texas when we lived there. But let me just tell you, it hurts. If you've never been stung by a scorpion, just take a bee sting or wasp sting and multiply it several times. And in those days, people will seek death and will not find it. Have you ever said, oh, I just wish I could die, it hurts so bad? That's what they're going to be saying. In those days, people will seek death and will not find it. They will long to die, and death will flee from them. And then it goes on and says the appearance, and this is how we know they were creatures different from locusts and different from men. It says the appearance of the locust was like horses prepared for battle, and on their heads appeared to be crowns like gold, and their faces were like human faces. Well, now they're big as a horse and a face like a human. And they had hair, look in verse 8, they had hair like the hair of women. I've seen a few of those walking around today, but their faces look like horses. No, well, never mind. They look like horses. There were crowns on their head. Their faces were like human. They had hair like women. Now, if that don't scare you to death, it says, and their teeth were like the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates like breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings, I didn't even know they had wings, but now we find out they have wings, was like the sound of chariots of many horses rushing to battle. And they have tails like scorpions. There's where that idea of the scorpion comes from. They have tails like scorpions and stingers, basically, on their tails. That's where the hurt comes from the locust, or from the scorpions. He says, and they sting, and in their tails is the power to hurt people for 5 months. How'd you like to run into a bunch of those? And verse 11 tells us how we know they were not locusts, but special demonic creatures. In verse 11, they have a king over them, and he's the angel of the abyss, the messenger from the abyss. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in the Greek he has the name Apollyon. Make no mistake, I believe this is the wretch himself. This is the devil. And then in verse 12, it says, the first woe has passed. Oh, wow. This is just the first one. There's 2 more to come. Well, you're not listening fast enough for us to get to the 2 of them. So we're going to stop there and try to cover the last 2 tomorrow if you join me. You guys have a great day, and be thankful you're not going to go have to face these creatures. All right? You won't see them if you trust the Lord before the rapture. Bless you. Have a good day today.